Want to go deeper with Lobbing Scorchers? You know, scratch under the surface, get down even dirtier than we already get? Become a YouTube member. Sometimes things just get a little too spicy, a little too weird, and a little too loose for the general public. And you know, the people to see that are YouTube members. We're talking about exclusive bonus videos, the podcast after show, exclusive written content, and little bits and pieces of information before the unwashed masses know about it. As a member, you not only get access to all of this amazing content, you get a badge next to your name and a slew of amazing emotes to use, not only in our live stream chat, but also in our comments section. And yes, we do have an emote for Jesus Ferreira, Go Snack, and Paul Rothrock. This is the best way to help keep us independent and keep us building out this crazy YouTube brand that we call Lobbing Scorchers. Hit the join button down below or hit the link in the top of our description if you're on mobile to join the ranks and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome in to another Postgame Live. The Seattle Sounders just beat Sporting Kansas City, the club of professional wrestling enthusiasts, 3-2 in what, you know, Noah, I don't usually use the term tale of two halves, but I think this can be safely dubbed a tale of two halves. Jordan Morris, Albert Rusnak, and Jesus Ferreira all get on the score sheet in a dominant first half performance. Didn't go as well in the second half. It did not.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing my internet died, Ari, after that first half. You know, you'll have to fill me in because I totally am just pretending like I didn't actually watch what I watched in that second half.
It did not end well. Let's just say that it did not end well. I don't think there's such a thing as you know how they say there's draws that feel like a loss or draws. I don't think there's such a thing as a win that feels like a loss, but like low key, like I don't feel like I normally do after a win right now based on how that second half ended and really in the whole debacle with the red card at the end. Nouhou's probably getting suspended. We're going to talk about all that, but before we get into it, as always, like the video, sub to the channel, follow us on all socials, and order the Lobbing Scorchers hot sauce, lobbingscorchers.com/sauce. Use code LS. Yeah, I use it all the time. Use code LS, get a free bottle with your order. We're going to talk about this game, of course, and take some calls. Get the reactions from you, the people, in a little bit. I'm not sure what the status of the pressers are, if they've started yet. If you could check that.
Ryan,
we might be too late to play that live. But either way, while we wait for Noah to check on the status of that, we'll give our takes on what just took place at Children's Mercy Park first, get the discourse flowing, and then send the call-in link out for you all to hop on. You see anything with the pressers yet? Or
booting into it right now.
Okay,
TBD.
okay.
Oh, God damn it. It's trying to open up.
That would be ideal. We'll see if we can make it happen with the tech, because I really actually want to see these. I want to see these.
They may be.
Should theoretically let you hop into the Zoom mid call.
Yeah. Let's see.
Here
we go.
Let's go. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously I played with Jesus with the national team a lot, and weirdly we've kind of switched roles here a little bit. But you throughout the course of the season, you see what he brings. He's so clean on the ball, helps a ton in build out, and he can play that final pass so well. So, like I said, when we talked in Seattle, having him and Albert on either side of me is, it's a dream for a forward like me that likes to make those runs in behind, and whether it goes to the left, whether it goes to the right. I know that the quality of the guy on the ball is so high, and if I make a run, they're going to find me. So I love playing with Jesus. He's so clean technically. Super happy he got a goal. It was a great combination with them, and for me, I think the three of us work really well together. So he's a great player. We're really happy to have him.
All right, next question. We'll go to Nico and to Nico. Go ahead, please.
Hi, guys. Congratulations on the win. Albert, just wanted to talk about that second half, you being right in the middle, wanted to get your thoughts on the pressure. especially because that looked like a different game with their momentum in that second half.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like obviously me and Danny second half were the highest guys on the field, and I felt like once we got the ball, there was we were 70 yards from their goal. So if you turn and you don't want to play that final ball because then it might be one against their back three or four, and we focus too much on defending, which is normal. You see it in the games all over the world. Once a team takes a 2-goal lead or 3-goal lead, it's natural and it's normal that the other team will all of a sudden start having a ball, throwing more numbers forward, creating more chances, because the other team does not necessarily need to score a goal. You just need to protect the 3-goal lead. So, and that can become very dangerous. And unfortunately for today, for us, that became the one negative thing in the second half was that we weren't able to connect and get out of pressure and change the sides from right to left and do all the good things that we have done in the first half, because we were just too deep, and we were going to learn from that. We are happy that we still won the game and won 3-2 because, like I said, it was a big grind at the end, the last 5-10 minutes, man down. But it's definitely, the second half is something that we need to improve on. I'm sure we'll watch a film and learn from the things that we did wrong, and then look at the things we did well in the first half. And for the next match, trying to put a good performance over the course of 90 minutes.
Thank you.
All right, Jeremiah, I see your follow-up. Go ahead and ask, please.
Jordan, you get back on the score sheet there. That's the first goal in a few months. Just how does it? I mean, are you feeling fully back at this point? I know you must have been limited to 45 minutes, but how are you feeling otherwise?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah, it felt great to get back on the score sheet. It had been a bit, but yeah, I'm feeling good. I need to slowly work back into things. Obviously, coming back from a long time out, and we've kind of been in a weird, coming back from an injury. It's been a bit of a weird time just with the congestion games. I haven't been able to get a ton of good training sessions in with the whole group. And so I think that's potentially why this kind of coming back into play has gone a little bit slower. And the team around me is great. We're just making sure that everything goes well, obviously, because it's been a tough year with some re-injuries. So I feel good. It was good to get 45 minutes under my belt. That was the longest I've played in a long time. So I feel fit, and obviously getting the goal will give me some confidence moving forward. But I think that's kind of the reason for the progression and how it's going, and just see how this week goes. But I'm feeling good.
All right, Maz, we'll let you close this out here.
Okay. Hey, I guess this was Albert, because I think you're closer to him. Andrew Thomas, just the way that he played. I mean, he looked like he was brave, flying all over the place. Just your thoughts on his first start.
Yeah, he's excellent shot stopper. I mean, we see it every day in training, and I think he made some great saves. They took quite a few shots from around the edge of the box that were hit hard, and didn't spit any rebound out in front of him. He held him to the ball great. I mean, he conceded 2 penalties, which is he's actually really good at saving PKs. But conceding PKs is not something that we expect him to save every single one. But other than that, I thought corners, a lot of crosses. He came out with authority. He hit the ball and the guy, which is what you're supposed to do as a keeper. So yeah, overall, I think the whole team felt really confident, with him replacing Steph. So yeah, I mean, credit to him. I think he's had a great game.
Thank you.
Albert, Jordan, thank you both very much for your time. Safe travels home. Congrats again.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That was Jordan Morris and Albert Rusnak post game after a 3-2 win at Sporting Kansas City. I guess if there's a positive, it's the return of Jordan Morris. He goes 45 minutes. He scores a goal. Paul Rothrock gets the assist. What did you make, Noah, of how the offense looked while we wait for Schmetz here with Jordan back in there? Oh, you're on mute from the Zoom call.
I thought it looked great. I was glad to see him back and running like a champ and playing basically exactly like he looked possessed. He looked like he was ready to be out there and actually playing 45 minutes of soccer, which that's like hopeful. Like I think we've really been lacking that striker. Like I love Moose. I've loved that he's
It's
been
just a
able
different
to-
element. It's a
Yeah,
different
like
element.
Jordan Morris is a designated player striker who has done it time and time again, coming off of his best season he's ever had. And I mean, he's looked dangerous even in his little cameos. So for him to get 45, feel good, score a goal off of a Rothrock, great Rothrock pass. I mean, it's just a classic Jordan Morris goal, and it's one of those goals that like you can kind of come to expect from him and why he plays so well in this league. So, you know what? People can be upset all they want. I love Jordan at the 9. I'm glad that he's back, and I think it's genuinely going to help down the stretch. Like, if anything, it's positive for the fact that there is actually an attacker at the 9 now that is like going to feel a little more consistent.
Chat is on fire right now. TIE Fighter makes a good point. Where's the Nouhou post game at? Yeah, why didn't they put him on the
They
podium?
should have rolled Nouhou out, bro.
Roll him
What
out.
is that?
Roll him out. Let's see what he's got to say. That would have been they would never do that for us, but that would have been that would have been a good move. And then Tom says, "Dour, angry Jingle Bells incoming." They shouldn't sing Jingle Bells after that. They shouldn't sing it. That should be
that's the take.
that doesn't merit Jingle Bells, even though they won.
Yeah, that's a chat poll. So chat in the chat, type 1 if you think they should sing Jingle Bells, 2 if they shouldn't. Because I gotta get the vibes on this. This is like
I feel like the vibe in the locker room after the game, like usually they're yucking it up, blasting music. Like I feel like they shouldn't be doing that, you know. But it is like I don't want to overstate it. Like a win on the road is a win, especially because honestly, Noah, that way the second half went in one respect wasn't surprising to me, which is that these away matches at Sporting KC,
they're tough, man.
They become survival tests to a certain extent always because it is humid as hell. It was 70% humidity out there. The Seattle Sounders looked like a team that was playing in 70% humidity and not used to that in the second half. And they looked like they were playing against a team that is used to playing in that. Seattle uses the rain to that effect in their home games. Sporting KC, Houston, Dallas, they all use the heat to that effect in their home games. And it's like Christian Roldan looked so freaking gassed.
They all looked gassed.
They all looked gassed, but him especially.
Even,
I was laughing thinking about like what was going through Ryan Kent's head. He was probably like, dude, where am I? What is
where
this?
am I?
What did I sign up for?
I flew in here and all I saw was parking lots. I just saw parking lot. Is that a speed track? Where am I, bro? Am I in Kansas or am I in Missouri? This man probably doesn't even know what state he's in right now. They're probably driving back to their hotel in Missouri, and he's probably like, do I have to show him my passport? Like, I'm not really sure. Okay, and here comes Brian Schmetzer.
All right.
So my bit is cut it short by Coach Schmetzer.
Right to questions. Jeremiah, why don't you lead us off, please?
Yeah, Brian, congrats on the win. Though in a game like this where you end up having to hold on as much as you did after going in at half up 3-0, what is the message to the team? Is it more positive for holding on or frustrated that it even came to that at the end?
3 points. Positive. Hard to win in MLS away from home. 3 great goals. Goals we scored were very good. Everything positive.
Miles, we'll go to you next.
Yeah, Brian, staying on the positive, I'm wondering what did you see in terms of Jordan's ability to stretch, and then how Paul Rothrock was also tucked in on the left, and then Jesus Ferreira, because it looked like you had it going on for a little bit there.
Well, Jesus wasn't tucked in. Paul wasn't tucked in. Paul was wide left. Jordan didn't have many opportunities to run in behind, but if you watch the first goal, we have possession over on the right-hand side. Ball comes to Jordan. Jordan plays the ball out to Paul, and he sprints. So Jordan makes that play, and he gets that goal, and it's all him. Now, Paul makes a good decision because he's out there on his own, puts the ball in a dangerous spot, but that was excellent play. And, you if you want to go through the goals, since you asked, I mean, the handball, our second goal, the penalty was a clear penalty, number one. And number two, again, we extended our possessions. We put them under immense pressure. We tacked down the right, brought it to the left, had some crosses. We're able to win the ball back. So that was good. And then the third one, because we talk about who is our team. Are we a possession-based team? Are we a transition team? Well, you saw three tremendous players break away down the field, and that was a clinical. That's about as good as you're going to get in a transition moment and transition goal. So kudos to Jesus and Albert. I mean, making good decisions, good runs, good movements, and 3-0 ended up being the winning goal.
Was that intentional? And I'm sorry, was it intentional to have Paul on the wing there? Because you're right, he really kind of dominated.
He always plays wide left. We always play with the wide on the left side. We always have a winger. He's always the widest guy because Nouhou needs to tuck in, or if Reed plays there, we don't want our left back going if there's a guy in that space.
Thanks.
All right, Jade, over to you.
Thanks. Congratulations on the win, Brian. Were you given an explanation of why Nouhou was sent off?
Yeah, a fan flipped him off, and then he threw a ball into the stands.
And I'm guessing that this is. I mean, how do you expect that you'll handle that?
I will deal with Nouhou internally.
And then as far as the second half, though, I mean, you make the change at halftime as far as bringing Danny on. What was the messaging to the team? Because aside from even the way that it finished, there was.
Well, the messaging at halftime. Look, Jordan came off because he hit his metrics in the first half. He was fine, totally fine. There's nothing wrong with the injury. We had talked about that, so that was the sub. But we came out flat in the second half. We knew that this was a proud team. They've got a new coach. They're trying to play for their jobs, their livelihoods. We knew they were going to come out in the second half, and we didn't adapt. We didn't deal with it very well. We gave the ball away a few times unnecessarily. Nobody really could step up and, take control of the game. And so they put us under pressure. And, that stuff happens. There's momentum swings in our sport. And, that's kudos to Kerry and his team. They didn't give up.
Nico, go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, Coach. Congratulations on the win. Just wanted to talk about Alex Roldan. Maybe his goalkeeper instincts came in on that save there. Want to get your thoughts on his performance and that moment and what that meant to the team in the game.
Well, it certainly was a creative way to block a shot on the goal line, but his instincts defensively were very good in that moment. I think Andrew had a good game, but we talked about that before the game, that we needed to help Andrew. This was his first game in quite some time, and Alex did exactly that, and it was a great block. We had some other good defensive plays, as well, but, Andrew and that particular block were pretty fantastic.
Thank you.
George, I see your hand raised. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Coach, this is the fourth game with red cards, 5 red cards in total. Is there something that you have to adjust in the way that the players are playing so that you don't get more red cards? Or
Well, you can remove Nouhou's because I'll deal with that. The 2 yellow cards to Reed and Kalani, and also Nouhou up in Vancouver. We've already addressed those, so we're not going to go back and readdress things. The players understand the learning. But I will, again, we'll address it with Nouhou and we'll move forward.
All right, we'll take 1 or 2 follow-ups. Jeremiah, do you have one?
Yeah. On Nouhou, not to dig too hard on this, but I mean, is this a situation where you just need him to be better than that? I mean, what kind of messaging can you give?
Keep that house, Jeremiah, what I told him. I'm gonna wait 24 hours, 48 hours. We don't know what the league's going to do. Let's just let the situation unfold. He's heard my initial thoughts, and then we'll move forward after that.
Maz, why don't you take us home?
Yeah, Brian, just on a positive note, I think you talked about it. Just, the players going through ups, downs, whatnot, but walking out of there with 3 points, just how important was that given all the peaks and valleys you went through in this game?
Well, it's hard to win on the road in MLS. Again, there was some really good soccer played in that first half. You guys can rewatch that. I loved some of the things we did. You're the tactics guy. Just watch when Alex Roldan comes inside into a pivot and we break them open and we get the ball from the left side to the right side. I mean, there was a lot of good attacking sequences in that first half. We just need to figure out how to, get a complete performance.
Safe travels. Thank you.
Ryan, as Maz said, safe travels home. Thanks for your time.
Well, I mean, it wasn't as scorching as I expected, but I mean, they did win. So I think like if they had blown the lead, there might have been like no pen would have been.
I will say there was a contrast between the content of his answers and the demeanor in which they were delivered. But he's right. They did win the game. It is hard to win on the road in MLS. It's 3 points, all the same. So again, like I don't want to overstate the ramifications of how the game ended. We got accused by one person in chat of crashing out over a win. I don't think that's what we're doing, but I do think we need to be real about the fact that the way that second half went and the way that the game ended was like low key a meltdown. Like they won the game, but like
there's not a low key. No happy with that. Like if you're happy with that, then.
And like outside of the red card, outside of the shit show of an ending, I think Schmetz hit the nail on the head in that they knew that Sporting KC. I mean, when you're up 3-0 against a team that's in the situation that they're in, like he said, they're playing for jobs and livelihoods, and they're playing at home, and they're gonna be coming after you like that. And what you need to do is to be able to absorb the pressure, one, and two, like control the tempo and the game state better than they were able to. And the game management in the second half just was not what it needed to be to see out a lead on the road, even a 3-goal lead. And they got fortunate to not bungle those 3 points. The penalty on that Joveljic drew, arguably soft, but to me that's something that happens because you've lost control of the game. You're under so much pressure that like something like that, even if it's a soft call, it felt like bound to happen to me almost.
What I will say about that though, I do think it's a penalty. It's soft. It's whatever. If you call that, you have to call the one on Obed. I mean, that is just criminal that Obed basically does the same exact thing as Joveljic. Joveljic holds up his run, does his little like, let me just like do my little choppy steps and then throw my whole body forward into the box anytime I feel contact on my leg. And then the same exact thing happens to Obed Vargas in the box. He gets chopped down after 2, 3, 4 times of getting fouled, not even getting called, just getting told to come up. And you're going to miss that? Like, if you are going to call the game, I mean, we can talk about this official. He was bad.
We can.
He was bad. And it's not even like the red card deserved. That penalty, I think he deserved that penalty too. Joveljic probably deserved that penalty too. But at the same time, it's all about being even. It's all about calling the game evenly. And he didn't even attempt to do that. It didn't feel like.
What he was doing, I was kind of searching for like the right way to frame it. And I think J.O. blue skied about it at one point.
Skeeted? Are we still using that terminology? I want to hear you say it, Ari. I want to hear you say skeeted.
The Sounder at Heart account skeeted that the referee, it felt like he was calling the scoreline. And that's exactly what it was. There was a lot of examples of it outside of the one on Obed in the box that you mentioned. There was also the one where Obed was making a run upfield, got tugged that we all saw, and I've never seen that like waved off like that, like finger wagged. That is just and you know that if the scoreline wasn't as lopsided as it was at the time, he does call that, and that's not how you're supposed to do it. Like it's supposed. So I was telling myself that I wasn't going to do ref talk after the game, but then as we got into the second half, I was like, all right, I'm probably going to have to do some ref talk.
I mean, it's not, like, I don't think this is one of those games where you're like, I'm crashing out about the ref and it's the whole reason that this game was like got out of hand in the second half. No, the Sounders lost the game state. They played absolutely terribly. Once Paul Rothrock got off that field, the engine stopped turning, dude. There was no more gas. Everyone was exhausted. You just talked about it. The heat, it's intense. The Sporting Kansas City players, they're playing for something. They are playing for something. When you are 3 goals ahead, this is why they say a 3-goal lead. It's 2 goals, 3 goals. It's super dangerous because you turn your brain off. It happens. It happens to every single person. And why in the world were the Sounders playing so poorly, just so poorly after that? It wasn't because of the ref. He was not helping. He was exacerbating how just badly they were playing. But I mean, you can't not call it out like that. That was bad officiating.
Yeah, it got out of hand, but like to me, when I look at what took place in the second half, it felt like the 2 main factors were a desperate opponent that was throwing everything at you, and just insane 70% humidity heat that it looked like the guys were running in mud
you don't understand. Like, I don't think people understand this. Like, I worked at that stadium during June, July, and August. I had an internship there. June, July, and August. I have never sweat so much in my life.
Sounds
it
terrible.
Is legitimately the most outrageous heat and humidity, and like you feel like you're breathing in water. So when you're running and when you're trying to like exert yourself, you feel just waterlogged. It's a crazy feeling. But yeah, I agree. Should we hit these super chats?
Yeah,
quick?
hit the supers.
All right, this first one from Jake. Thank you for the $5, Jake. I did set a goal here. I said if we get 5 super chats, I will break a pen live on stream. Since Brian wouldn't do it, someone's got to do it. Ryan Kent brought the trick stick out to help ice the game. How do we think Ryan Kent did? And what do we make of Ryan Kent at this moment?
I thought he had a couple nice moments. The trick stick moment that Jake mentioned was that's some of like the cool flashy stuff that he can do. So it was nice to see him do one like that. And then he had a couple of nice runs on the left side, including one where it looked like he had Moose to pick out for what could have been a tap in, but the goalkeeper got the cross. But for a game that was it 3-0 or 3-1 when he subbed in? And I would venture to guess he's probably never played in anything like those conditions in his life. So I thought it was a okay, solid cameo with a couple good moments. It didn't really change much of how I think of his stock at the moment, which is of a player who looked like the greatest player I've ever seen for his first 3 games with the club, and then hasn't like recaptured that level since, to the point where I think it was shown once again today that Paul Rothrock is a starting winger on this team. I don't know what to do with that information. It's up to you all to do with that information what you will, but that's just pretty obvious to me as we stand today on July 12th.
I took a lot of flack for that take early in the season, Ari, and you know what? I'm just glad that people are coming around because I don't know what to tell. I don't know what to tell people because as much as close as even last week, I had people telling me, no, you don't understand, Noah. You don't understand. They're basementing Pedro de la Vega. They're putting him in the basement. You don't get it. He's so much better than Paul Rothrock. Whatever, man. Whatever you want to believe. All right, let's jump into this next super chat. Ref bought everything SKC tried to sell. I think that's low key a little. He was like you said, he was playing to the score line, unfortunately,
and you could tell.
Tell. And Zippy Tuna writes here for $5. Thank you all for the super chats, by the way. It was the ref's 4th MLS game per the broadcast. Boy, did it show.
Well, maybe he'll get better. Maybe he'll get better with experience. Then I'll finish out this super. Well done to hang on though. And how good does it feel to beat SKC? And yeah, you know what? Let's talk about some positives, Noah. We've been more negative than usual after a win, and I think rightfully based on how the game ended with just the game state and the red card and all that. But as Brian Schmetzer said, the first half was excellent. It couldn't have been a bigger contrast between that and what we saw in the second half. I have no notes for the first half. That you cannot.
Beautiful footy.
It was beautiful footy, and you really just cannot do it up any
Jesus
better
Ferreira
for
goal, brother.
for
Come
a road
on.
game. Yeah, let's talk about all three.
He's got 3.
Yeah, you might not be getting.
He's just got to score 2 more, and I don't have to get it.
That was honestly a pretty. I mean, I don't want to call it, but like, there's a lot of time left for him to get 2 goals. So I think you might be in the clear. But the performance offensively in the first half was excellent, and the way the game ended shouldn't necessarily take away from that. We've got Jo in the queue, so I didn't know that was happening. But let's bring him on.
You know, this is what we do here at the.
Let's bring him
Scorchers
on.
multi-million
We've got
dollar
the sounder
compound.
at heart, Overlord himself, Jeremiah Oshan, joining the post game live. Jeremiah, how's it going, man? Where are you at on this game between being tilted about the debacle of how it ended versus the fact that they did win the game and played some of the best soccer, I think, offensively that they've played all season?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can be too upset. They gave up 2 penalties. I thought both were soft. I mean, I think they're correct, but they're both soft. It's not like they were diving in, making stupid plays on either one of the penalties. And they looked great in the first half. I mean, the second half, clearly there's some issues there once they were having to play out. But I think a lot of that was, Jordan was really helping stretch the field in the first half. They didn't really have anyone to stretch the field in the second half. They got stuck in their own end. And credit to KC. They started just pumping balls into the box and creating havoc. And, I think you never take a road win too, you never look at too closely, right? You'll take those road wins. I thought Kansas City's defense was as bad as I thought they would be. But they did the thing where they got back into the game through moxie.
The God love them, Sporting Kansas City, the club of professional wrestling enthusiasts. It was really fun to watch for all of us because it felt like their line of confrontation was just so deep that Seattle's midfielders and forwards they were just like,
I don't think.
All right, if you're
honestly,
gonna.
What I was noticing is that it wasn't so much that their line of confrontation was deep; it was that the midfield and their first line seemed to have no idea what the other one was doing. It was wild how much space the Sounders had in the midfield throughout the first half. I mean, every time they basically broke the first line of pressure, they were off and running. It was unbelievable. I guess KC normally plays with a single pivot, and in this game they tried with double pivot, and it just seemed like they had no clue at all how to actually pull that off.
It's harder than it looks, folks. Okay, not everyone can do it. Everyone can do it.
That third goal that Ferreira scored at the end of the half was so funny because I was sitting there like, why is there 8 minutes right now? What? Like,
right.
I know there was like one stoppage or delay, but 8, like, what are we talking about? And then literally Sporting Kansas City was kind of on top of it in that period of stoppage time. And the transition opportunity for Seattle started off a pretty dangerous little sequence for Sporting KC where Christian Roldan, I think, wins the ball, and then he's the one who sends it forward. But then, it was just space for days for Ferreira. Ferreira and Rusnak were just like basically free to do whatever they wanted out there on that play, and it was great to see Ferreira get another goal for sure. But Sporting KC in general in the first half defensively.
3 goals and an assist in 5 games.
Yeah. Don't let him heat up. Don't let him heat up now. It's going to undermine some narratives.
Zippy Tuna, thank you for the super chat here. The first half hour was dreadful for a home team. I mean,
Seattle looks like the home team.
Yeah, the Seattle played them. They were looking like, oh yeah, we played on grass before. We like grass. We like grass better. Like that's literally what it looked like. Like I was watching Paul Rothrock dribble out there. I was like, oh my God, we need grass. Speaking of wingers, I have a question for you, Jeremiah.
Sure.
I pontificated about this on the platform known as Blue Sky. As I've said earlier today, I skeeted this. We're really bringing this back for this show. But what's going on with Pedro de la Vega? I don't know. Maybe this was me, but like I felt like he looked off and a little just like spaced out. I don't know. Maybe I was like,
I don't
just
know. I feel like there's a little bit of confirmation bias going on with Pedro de la Vega because I'm seeing quite a few people talk about what a bad game he had. Basically,
I don't think he had a bad game. He just
Okay,
was,
I
he
mean,
was there.
he made like probably 5 good defensive. Like he definitely did not seem checked out to me. Like he was putting in the effort defensively. And if you're checked out, you're not putting in the effort defensively. He doesn't look sharp. I will grant that, but he also dribbled out of pressure a few times. Was able to, retain possession. I was not worked up about Pedro's performance. I think with the way that Rothrock and Ferreira are playing, that it's hard to see a pathway to him getting back into the starting lineup, but that to me is more about the play of the guys ahead of him and less so much about his play. I wouldn't be shocked if he starts on Wednesday. I think they're going to rotate the lineup at least at a few spots on Wednesday. Although, I don't know, maybe not. But I don't know. I'm just not as...
I know what spot they're going to rotate. Left
forward?
back.
Where?
Left back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Nouhou, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but
let's pull up the video. We'll see if we get banned for this, but I feel like we should do it anyway.
I mean, it's like a fan video, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, hold on. It's not a fan video.
Well, okay. While you're looking for that, Jo, what is your understanding of what happened?
So yeah, apparently what happened is a fan flipped off Nouhou, and he reacted by taking the ball from the stand and just winging it into the crowd, which is
Here he is right here. He's holding the ball right now.
Okay, yeah, number 5.
And throws it at someone.
I hadn't seen.
I mean, it was right-handed. He might be left-handed, so I don't know. Maybe we give him credit for that. But it's among the dumbest things I've seen a player do.
2 weeks after he did one of the other dumbest things I've ever seen a player do.
He's now been red carded twice in his last 4 appearances, even including is that right? No, I guess 5 appearances. But whatever. 4. Yeah, he's been red carded in his twice in his last 4 games. This is unbelievable.
Oh my God, he flips him off.
Yeah, so
he flips him off mid-argument.
I think what he's doing is he's telling the ref this is what happened. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there.
It does look like a flip off, but you can't really tell.
Someone screen. This is a new Twitter banner. Do you remember the Twitter banner you had for a long time, Ari, where it was Reed Baker Whiting telling Nouhou to calm down? He's like,
no, well, he's going use your.
Oh
head.
Yeah, he's doing use your head. I think we need to bring back that meme. Someone needs.
Yeah,
to,
I mean this is. I mean this. He's going to be, first of all, there's a good chance he's going to get suspended.
Yeah, I was going to say there's precedent for this.
100% going to get suspended.
Yeah, I mean he'll probably get 2 to 3 games. I would think at least. That's like best case scenario.
I mean, Kaku kicked it into the stands and hit a guy in the face. That was a little different.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably it's actually pretty similar.
But he absolutely, it is similar in the act, but the outcome of that was someone got absolutely smoked. Whereas it doesn't sound like that's what happened.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
They tell you that balls are flying and to keep your head on a swivel. Like, I don't really know, like, why.
It doesn't change the fact that he can't do that, and he will rightfully.
I mean, if I remember correctly, Kaká did not like aim it at a fan. He just kicked it in frustration and it was an accident.
It was an accident.
And so this is Nouhou purposely throwing it. So whether or not there was less damage, I think whatever. He's going to get suspended. I think 2 games.
What is he doing? What is he doing? It's so dumb.
It's very dumb.
So stupid.
I don't think there's any excuse for it. I know there was a lot of fans who I get it. Hey, benefit of the doubt. Maybe this guy was yelling some racist stuff at him or whatever. I'm pretty sure if that was what happened, Schmetzer would have led with that. But no,
I think
Schmetzer basically said
he said he flipped him off. Which
he threw
who cares that a fan flipped you off? There's literally footage of when Jordan Morris scored 4 goals at that stadium, running by and
you're
all flipping him
by
off.
A fan flipping, yeah. If you're triggered by a fan flipping you off, what are you doing?
It's insane to me because, brother, you're a national team player. You are a starter on an MLS club. Who gives a fuck what some guy in Kansas thinks about you?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta keep your head. It's
well, and the context
so
of
ridiculous.
It coming after another, like, it's one thing to get red cards that are within like the context, like a foul or something like that. But these are losing your head. This is like not keeping control of your emotions when you have to, and you're putting your team in a bad situation when you get sent off for stupid bullshit like that. So
and I'll just want to, because I know that there's going to be people that are going to run in here and be like, well, Reed Baker Whiting picked up a penalty And it's like, look, that you can coach. You can coach how you put in a challenge. You can you could coach players to play better with when they're sitting on 2 yellows. Like Reed got sent off for 2 yellows. Kalani got sent off for 2 yellows. You can coach that stuff. But this is what drives coaches crazy, is that like I don't have to tell you not to throw the ball at fan. Like this is child's work.
And
Like,
it's not the first time either. Like for me, and I don't know, maybe this is a little bit of a crash out because I've been just frustrated with his demeanor, which like that sucks to say about another human being, to be like, brother, like what are you doing? But this isn't the first time he's done this. He crashed out last season around this time and got suspended internally for like,
well, that was because he missed his Uber.
No, that was another time.
Oh.
That was early.
What he's talking about is when he flew off the handle in the locker room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he and Rui Diaz.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, like you have what you I literally I don't know. I've never played soccer at that level, but it's like I've been chirped before, and it's just like, dude, who gives a fuck, man?
Part of the job is literally like maintaining composure.
And I know that there's going to be folks that because I've seen this, people say like, hey, look, we put up with a lot with Clint too. But man, I mean, look, it's always a sliding scale of what you're willing to put up with. If you are balling out and you act like a fool, you're going to get more chances than if you're not. Like Nouhou was having a pretty good defensive game, so I don't want to like degrade his performance too much. But the reality is that when you're a defensive guy, you are going to be held to a different standard. And I just don't see how he can, even when he comes back from this break, I don't see how he gets back in the lineup. I just don't see, because I just don't see, how do you prove that you can be trusted when you keep doing this stuff, especially in such a small amount of time? He should have already been on a short leash. Like he was already getting benched, presumably for behavior, like not being smart. And then he gets a red card for throwing a ball into the stands.
It comes off of that red card in Vancouver that was absolutely reckless as well and stupid. Like there's other ways to
which one was stupider? Which one was stupider?
This one for sure. Because at least the other one had a means to the ends. Like it was violent.
It was a defensive. He was trying to like,
but it was a part of the game. This wasn't even a part of the game. And it's like, dude, it's being checked. It's someone. What doesn't make sense to me too is like, I get that a fan like chirps you or whatever. I get it. It wasn't even him who conceded the penalty. Why is he even upset?
Right.
Like,
okay. Look, okay. Look, I'm not trying to cut you off here, but this is the thing, is that he and some other player are over there while everyone else on the team is back getting instructions from Schmetzer. And I don't remember who is over on the sideline, who at the end line with him. Maybe I don't know who it is, but I got to imagine that Schmetzer doesn't want anyone over there. Like, why are you guys even? Why are you even in the? What are you hanging out over there for? Why are you putting yourself in earshot of the fans? What are you doing?
Yeah, and not to belabor the point, we can move on after this, but like just the context of where the game was at as well makes it even somehow more egregious.
Exactly,
because you're holding on for dear life. You cannot go down a man in that situation.
They're reviewing a penalty to bring it to within 1 goal. Like, you don't want to make it worse.
God, if anyone went into this game wondering if the Sounders could go 1 week without a fullback getting sent off, the answer was no. No, they could not.
Zero days since a fullback has been sent off.
And we are
straight games where they've had. I mean, that's got to be a record where you've had 4 straight games with a fullback specifically sent off.
5 total reds.
Let's see if they can move the streak to what I have to imagine would be an MLS record of 5. Folks, we're going to find out against the Colorado Rapids.
Oh my God!
I
honestly wonder how many times a player has been sent off twice in that small of a time frame. It has to be pretty rare.
Because usually you're on guard after you get a red. You're like, okay, I can't get a red. Like,
right.
But
I mean, it would be one thing if he got a red card for going in on a slide tackle too hard or
a defensive action.
If it was something in the run of play, but and it wasn't even like there was this heated moment where he's arguing, because sometimes you get your blood pressure up and you're arguing with the other team and you start hearing it from the fans and you just react, right? This isn't even that. This is him just like not liking being flipped off. What are we doing?
Flipped off is like on the tame end of the.
That's literally the average day for a Tesla driver. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are we doing here? Like,
oh boy.
That's a good.
We'll see if the Seattle Sounders can make it through one MLS game without getting a fullback sent off on Wednesday. Unfortunately, they could not accomplish that in this game, but they did get the win. I was trying to turn it positive before we got on the red card discussion.
Yeah, let's
talk about the goals. Let's talk about the goals. Which one do you guys want to talk about? What was your favorite one?
All of them.
Yeah, and I was okay. Let's talk about this one because we kind of talked about the other one. The penalty was a really good example of counter pressing and maintaining pressure. And also, if that ball doesn't hit Shalloway's arm, there's like two guys in the back post to finish it. That's an earned penalty. I think you can argue that certainly. I guess you can argue that the KC penalties were earned too. All three of them came when the team was under pressure. But I think it was a really good example of just what counter pressing does and just putting the opponent under pressure. It was good stuff.
I wish they would have let Obed take it though, because he was like right there at that back post for that header, and we need to get his stock up. So like I'm just trying to we got to rack him some goals, and plus like the Albert Rusnak penalty kicks, especially against Sporting Kansas City, don't count.
Well, they don't count.
Like,
yeah, unfortunately, the Rusnak goal and the Ferreira goal.
Or is there not a playoff?
No, because Sporting Kansas City and Jesus Ferreira.
No stat from this game is going to count. You'll see like if Jesus Ferreira doesn't score against the Rapids, and then I bring up that he just scored in the previous game, the response is going to be that was against Sporting Kansas City, so that was
yeah, correct.
No, I'm getting out in front of that. So when you guys out there do that, but I mean, in all seriousness, Jesus Ferreira is now he's pretty hot. Like he's genuinely on.
What he's got 3 goals, 6 assists, something like that. I mean, that's
good. That's like a good season so far.
Yeah.
8 assists if you want to give him credit for all comps.
Well, Caribbean nations, he does eat against those. So
yeah, but I think
they weren't Caribbean nations. Or
just in general, it's
don't cancel me.
It's good to see him like fitting in the team the way.
I hate to interrupt, but Diego Fagundes has scored a goal for the LA Galaxy, and I don't know what the score is, but
it's 2-0. They're playing DC United, so that win doesn't count.
Okay, that one doesn't count.
I'm not giving them that.
I was just gonna say, just want to let everyone know that LA Galaxy are, in fact,
they're gonna win again. They're looking like more like a competent soccer team lately, so that's good for them.
Yeah.
What was I talking? Oh, Ferreira. He's looking like he's meshing with everybody a lot more, which makes sense because he's been on the team for longer now. And
here we go.
he and Rusnak. You see how they were combining like that on that transition op. I want to give Rusnak credit on that goal as well. That was
that's a great pass. I think that's a really, really good pass.
I thought Rusnak was excellent in the first half. I want to.
Yeah, Rusnak was really good. He also had a ball cleared off the line. That was a great shot that he had.
Exactly. So that's the reason why the penalty should count, because really that was like really close.
Right. It was just making up for it.
And this is why I only look at XG when determining what goals count and what don't.
So it's like. I was also going to say about Ferreira is, I just think it's notable that Jordan like loves playing with him. He cannot say nicer things about playing with Ferreira, and I don't know, like
it's because he's fun to play with. He's really unselfish and he's a great passer. And they played together for the USMNT. I don't know if people remember this, but the USMNT was playing Mexico in Nations League a couple years ago when the Golden Generation were all out there, and the two guys who bailed them out from losing to Mexico were Jesus Ferreira and Jordan Morris. So they have like a history of having good chemistry from that.
All right, I've been told that the Jingle Bells video has officially dropped, and that it's a little like,
like
so we're gonna have to watch that right this minute. And
we were
give
kind of joking that the Jingle Bells should either be half-hearted or not sung at all.
Okay, let's see if we can. Oh shit! I searched comma. Oh shit.
A lot of hung heads.
It's a little half-hearted.
That is half-hearted.
That's the most half-hearted version of that I've seen.
That's funny because I was saying that as a bit, like that they that it should be a half-hearted Jingle Bells, and then that actually kind of was.
Yeah, exactly. That's
There's not even film of who said start it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're probably like, all right, guys, we gotta do the thing. So
we gotta do the bit.
We gotta do the thing. So let's just run it. But yeah.
We talked about the Ferrer goal.
Should we bring in a caller? We've had Jordan waiting here for about 48 minutes.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah.
And I feel bad for Jordan, and I feel like we should bring him in.
His namesake got back on the score sheet.
So, I'm gonna add him to the stage. Jeremiah, you can hang out too, and if you want,
I'll hang out for the first caller just in case, and then
just in case to hold up to back us up. All right, Jordan, welcome to the stage. How are we doing?
Hello. I'm exhausted, to be honest. I worked a 12-hour day in the sun doing delivery, so that was fun. So I missed actually the entirety of the first half. I listened to it.
Man, you missed the best part.
Well, so I'm at least listening to it. So
okay,
I hear the Jordan Morris goal
with Jackson Phelps
on Apple TV because I live in California.
Okay. Fair enough.
So Jordan Morris goal, like you said, my namesake. Super happy that he's back on the score sheet. And of course, it had to be against, Sporting. And then it was the Jesus Ferrer goal. The second the commentator was like, "Oh, and Seattle's on the counterattack." I'm like, "This is it. It's the most football thing in the world." Right before the half ends, someone goes on a counter and always scores. And of course, I'm just listening to the silence after the announcer yells Ferreira, and I'm like, "There's nothing. There's no noise from the crowd. The commentator saying nothing." So Seattle has scored. And sure enough, and then finally, after my horrible day in the sun, 100 degrees, I sit down, eat dinner, and enjoy a soft penalty, a yellow card not called on a counterattack where Mufasovski gets pulled down, but, it's not a yellow anymore for some reason. Nouhou, today will be the only day I will understand Nouhou. Because when I am also in a very hot area and someone pisses me off, even at the slightest thing, I would also want to throw something at their head. So,
okay, so we're getting into the brain of Nouhou now.
Listen. It is completely stupid. However, I do understand.
It's a good point. I hate the heat as well and act irrationally when I'm super hot. So yeah, benefit of the doubt. He was overheated and tilted and.
That being said, like I said, I would like to do it. I don't do it.
Right. Yeah.
As much as I would like to just throw something at somebody. Also, I am confused because he got the straight red in Vancouver. How was it not? Is that not a 3-game suspension? Was it appealed? Did I miss when it got appealed? Why was it only a 1-game suspension?
Well, red's an auto 1, and then this is going to be extra. This is going to be additional because of the nature of it.
If it's reckless, they can assign more or less.
I'm used to the Premier League where the second you get a red card, you are out for 3 games.
Yeah, no, it's an auto 1.
And because that's where I was confused because they were like, "Oh, Bell and Nouhou were out for this game." And I'm like, "What do you mean just this game? It's not." So, he will be out for a lot longer now. So,
yeah.
That'll be fun to see.
Because in the Prem, it's the double yellow is 1 match.
Yeah, and then straight red.
Straight red for violent conduct is 3 matches.
And with being an Arsenal fan, watching so many red cards, I am burned into my mind 3 games straight red all the time.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is, at least. Maybe I'm wrong.
So, but overall, they got the win. They're away from home. It's what? A win, a draw, and a win after coming out of the Club World Cup. Jesus Ferreira is slowly saving you. I was hoping you were going to get that tattoo. I'm not going to lie, that would have been really funny. I was hoping he would. He wouldn't. I was hoping he would just rack up only assists and no goals. But
I also want to clear up. People are confused with the cards. If it's violent conduct, regardless of it, it's 3 matches. If it's like a denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity, it's 1. They have like very specific things of. For X, it's X. For Y, it's Y.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of times when someone's getting a straight red card in the Prem, they're doing violent conduct.
It's straight, yeah. So it's I will say I have been a Jesus Ferreira hater before he came to Seattle, not just when he came to Seattle. As a USMNT fan, seeing Jesus Ferreira turn up only against Trinidad and Tobago or St. Kitts and Nevis. Like when I think he was in the MLS All-Stars against Arsenal, and I was like, well, if Brighton and Hovalvian played, Jesus Ferreira would have scored.
Hey, well, let's respect my
that's
Premier
no
League
listen,
here, brother. Let's have some respect. Okay, João Pedro.
Now that he's wearing the Sounders kit, I've been behind him the whole time, and I honestly liked the idea of him as a 10. Unfortunately, Rusnak is like MVP caliber. So, whenever Rusnak moves on, just throw him right there, put him in the middle, let him go crazy there. But yeah, I got to watch all the fun, all of the soft calls, bad refereeing, and missed all the great goals. I had to like pull over and watch the replays for all of them. So that was
It was
great.
definitely entertaining. It was funny when the broadcaster was like, Albert Rusnak might be a dark horse MVP candidate.
That pissed me off so much. Dark horse. No, that's not.
I was just like,
not,
even him saying that, I was like, it's so funny how different the national
it's not
perception
like he,
of him is
had like,
compared to like the local. Like
it's not like he had like this amazing season last season and then came in and had more offensive weapons around him to be able to just rack up more assists. No, it's just little plucky Seattle and their strong leader Albert Rusnak. No, like what? We brought in someone who can't make it as a striker and can't make it at 10 because we have 2 DPs who, as long as they're healthy, will just control the whole game themselves. So Albert Rusnak being called a dark horse pissed me off. Like, that tilted me. I wanted to throw something at the announcer for sure.
But you didn't.
I probably would have. Today would have been the day. But yeah, overall, listen, 3 points away from home. But Colorado is it a home game? The next game?
It is, yeah. I thought it was on the road, but it's
Throwback night. Throwback night.
Yeah.
Oh, so it'll be the one.
And they're
Sportsgame.com/tickets. You can get a shirt or something. I don't know.
They had been spiraling lately, but they beat Vancouver 3-0 tonight. But Vancouver's kind of spiraling.
Vancouver is having that CONCACAF hangover.
Yes, it's happening.
Without the win.
This is their
they didn't
second
get the
straight
win, but now they're just falling. I did actually have a question for you guys, being based in Seattle. Like I said, I'm based in California. I've only been to one game. I've only been able to go to one game at home in Lumen Field, and that was the CONCACAF Champions League final.
Great game to go to.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I literally, it was one of my 2 days off. I caught a train down to SFO, flew in, landed like 2 hours before the game, went straight to the stadium, saw the title, went home the next day. Literally, I was back in California by like 2 o'clock the next day. So I'm planning a trip with my dad. We're going to go to the Vancouver game in September. I missed out on all of the special things because I was in and out. I literally went straight to the stadium from my Airbnb. I think we're planning on buying tickets in the supporters section. What do I have to do as a traveling fan?
Maybe Jeremiah can hit that. I feel like
I have my ideas.
Okay, you hit yours, Ari. Yeah.
Well, we were talking to someone about this, and we were recommending Tats Tats Deli for sandwiches, which I can't recommend enough. It's like East Coast Philly cheesesteak like type sandwiches, but they're so good. So that's right in Pioneer Square. That's my favorite food joint around there. And then Temple, right, is the supporters bar where a lot of the supporters go. Is
Not-
that am I?
It's not as much, I don't think, anymore. It used to be sort of like the main hangout for
What's
ECS.
the hangout these days?
I'm not sure if it's more dispersed now because there's a lot more options than there used to be.
I feel like Temple's still like pretty.
I mean, I haven't been to Temple. Honestly, I've only been to Temple once. I feel like since COVID, so maybe it's still going off, but I don't hear nearly as many. I used to get invited to Temple like on a weekly basis, and I haven't been invited to Temple in a long time.
Maybe you're not as cool as you used to be.
That's possible, but there's a whole bunch of places on the other side of the stadium, starting with the Mariners spots. There's always a lot of activity there.
Oh, what's that one across from the stadium now?
Sluggers?
Beer hall?
Elysian?
The like beer hall or whatever?
Oh yeah, there's a new beer hall that's right by the stadium. I think it's
That
just
was
called
pretty
the
cool.
Hall.
The hall, yeah.
I'll plug fast fashion. I think.
Yeah. Really good beer and really cheap.
Yeah, and Nickel or Hooverville is a cool like locals bar. But Tats is definitely, I think that's the best food right by the stadium.
Yeah.
Got to get a Seattle dog though.
Yeah, post game Seattle dog at the stands in the.
Yeah, if you wait till after the
outside.
game, you can get a Seattle dog for probably $5.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Okay.
$2.
Yeah, because I missed out when I went. I was like, oh, I'm going to do the march. I'm going to do all this. And I'm like, I'm just going to go straight to the stadium. I went straight to the stadium. I want to do the march, but I ended up being able to take a picture with all the U.S. Open Cups and the MLS Cup. So that was worth missing out on that. So I know I want to do the march for sure with the group down to the stadium.
Well, yeah,
just
if
to
you're
be
gonna
a part
do
of
the
that.
Temple's a good shout if you want to do the march because that's right by there.
Okay.
And I would
Yeah, 'cause
say
we're-
too, there's a lot of like the Sounders have been trying to do more pregame programming and stuff. So just like look at their like if you're on their like emails or whatever for Matchday, they usually send what's going on, and they'll have a lot of activations down by the pro shop, so you can kind of just like meander around there. Sometimes they have like players or old players and stuff, so it really depends on what match it is.
Because we're basically there. I don't know how many days, but we're going for the Vancouver Seattle game, and then either the day before or the day after, we're going to do the Mariners Dodger game. So we're
Nice.
there for me to see Seattle play and him to do his bucket list of going to all the baseball stadiums. So I was like,
Beautiful.
great. It's a win-win.
I'll
Let's
tell
line
you,
that up.
The thing to do if you're just Seattle activities, go down to the waterfront. The
Oh
waterfront.
yeah, the new waterfront is awesome.
It's like unbelievably
Pike
great.
Place. You can just go to Pike Place, do the Pike Place thing, and then just walk straight to the waterfront. Get what are those buns? What are those buns? There's the little like, they're not bao buns, but they're
like red bean buns. Is that what you're talking about?
They're like, they have red bean ones or they have pork ones. They have like, it's a little stall in the market, but they're really good. I'm totally blanking. Maybe Chad can help, but I would do that, meander around the market, and then go hang out on the waterfront for a little bit. It's super cool. Tons of you'll probably meet people there. Honestly, I've met someone every time I've gone there.
I'm just excited to go back. I mean, like you said, what a game to go for. The only game I've gone to is a 3-0 win. It was so great celebrating and looking over at the two giant Pumas fans next to me, and I'm like, okay, good job, guys. Yeah, it's great. And then they finally left after the second goal, so I got to fully celebrate the third goal at least. That was a great thing.
Well, hey, that's pickleball night. I don't know. That's what the Sounders say is that's the pickleball
Yes,
night.
I saw that. I'm
tickets.
so excited as someone who very avidly plays pickleball so much. I'll just throw it on the wall and just hang it up.
Where in
somewhere.
California are you?
Central Valley. It's like about an hour. I live in Modesto. It's like an hour-ish away from Sacramento.
Me some pastry.
So, like,
that's exactly
like
what it
in
is.
Fresno, you mean?
No, Modesto. It's in like the Central
Modesto.
Valley.
Yeah, the nuts.
Yes, the nuts. Yes.
Yeah,
the
Maya,
team
let's not talk about your nuts on our stream, brother.
team-
You got a whole
the
website
team-
to do that if you want.
the team that's going away again.
Sad. Well, Jordan, we are so excited to have you in Seattle. Thank you so much for calling in. I think we're gonna we've got another caller in here, but
Sounds good.
I'm
they
gonna bounce you guys.
And
Thanks
all
for
right,
having me.
of course, good to see you both.
Thank you as always, Jo.
All right. We have one more caller, but I fear this is a bit of a troll account, and honestly, I don't think I want to deal with it, to be honest with you, Ari. So
Well,
this one's up to you.
I feel like this might be.
Oh, we got James. James is cutting the
yes.
line. I am going to let you. Do you think you want to rock it out? I think I might dip out too.
Yeah, I can hang out for a little bit longer. I'll be double
right.
dutying a little bit, but
Sick.
Yeah, if you need to dip, that's fine.
I need to dip. I need to eat some dinner. I haven't eaten yet, so chat.
Okay.
Eat some
Sounds
food. Take care of yourself. I love you all. Thank you for calling in, James. We'll see you all later. Like the damn video.
Like the video, sub to the channel, write reviews, rate 5 stars, lobbingscorchers.com/sauce. All right, disciplined Nouhou, I'm gonna give you a chance here, but if you're trolling, I'm gonna boot you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm not trolling.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah, I thought
we couldn't see the graphic, so we thought there might be some trolling going on.
No.
Okay, you're chilling. How are you feeling?
And also the profile picture is what I took it of Noah at the Club World Cup, pretending to not see Schmetz.
Oh, okay. That's what that is. All right, that's what we were trying to figure out. Is like, what are you referencing with that? That's actually funny. Good work there. How are you feeling after this 3-2 win at Sporting KC, which, as we've discussed, was a bit of a tale of two halves?
I feel pretty good. I honestly, there's not much to talk about. I mean, I feel like what we saw in the first half was pretty reflective of the team I was expecting to see.
Yeah.
And then Christian and Obed, when they play as much as they do, like obviously they're going to get worse and worse and worse. But I think the game reflected that because they were just so gassed. And you look down that bench and you have 6.5 wingers. I don't really know how you fix the midfield.
I think that's actually like a broader topic worth thinking about, which is that I know Jeremiah had been talking about it a little bit, but Christian and Obed have been playing like every single minute of every single game. And especially in a situation like this where you're playing in 70% humidity, I wasn't like shocked to see that the whole team was gassed, but I thought Christian at the end there, like he looked spent. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's just something worth thinking about. Like as
you see, like the second goal before the penalty, like Christian has the ball, and then he kind of like sits on it, and like I'm sure he's gassed, but there wasn't really. Christian's usually pretty good at being like, oh, there's a little bit of contact, and I can draw a foul, but that was a flop, and I feel like we don't see that from him, and it's probably just because he was gassed.
Yeah. And like, you know, some games you have to like they're survival tests. Like this is a perfect example of the type of game where you're probably going to be under pressure down the stretch and you just have to withstand it. And if you've got the lead like they did, you have to see it out. The ending went off the rails way more than it should have, in my opinion. But I don't know. What did you think of the sequence of events that took place at the end there with the red card?
Well, and that's kind of what my main thing is. I think the last time I called in, I was praising Nouhou, but reluctantly. I think it was after the Nashville game, or there was some game where, you know, like once or twice a year, Nouhou's like the man of the match. He can do no wrong. He's taking on 2 or 3 people, and he's not letting anything happen. But, you know, I said this after the Botafogo game. I'm kind of over what Nouhou brings the team. I mean, I don't know if he's been with us since like 2016, 2017. I feel like he's just too immature for the ball club, and I don't see him maturing. Like he is already a veteran, and
it feels like he's like regressing in that regard. I mean, like the nature of the 2 red cards he's taken in the last few weeks are just it's insane. Like,
I mean, red cards aside, there's immaturity on the ball. He doesn't really have the vision in attack. He likes to stall the attack It's just, and his defense is great when he's in that third center back spot. And yeah, it's good on the wing, but I think he's a liability more than anything. And at this point in time, I don't think he's worth investing in. Because I feel like we've seen the ceiling with Nouhou. And when you think back to Nouhou's best moments, I mean, in 2019 when we beat LAFC in LAFC, Nouhou had that he basically body slammed Carlos Vela, and it should have been a penalty, but they didn't give that. And then in 2022 when we won CCL, he wasn't even on the field. And like since then, I don't see a time where it's like, oh, we need to make sure Nouhou's in pen on the team sheet. And when Reed comes in on that left side, I mean, I feel like the drop off is hardly noticeable.
Unless he's getting red cards of his own, but
right. But both are getting red cards, but one can at least help on offense.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It would be ideal, as I said earlier, if they could make it through a game without a fullback getting a red card. It's not something that you typically want to see 4 games in a row, which it's got to be a club record. I don't know if it's an MLS record, but it's got to be an MLS record for the same position. It's incredible. I don't think I've seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what I don't think he brings us anything anymore. And honestly, I think his defense is pretty solid. Like I would definitely rate him 8 out of 10, 80% of the time as a defender. He doesn't get beat that often. He's pretty strong. But I don't even know if this is a possibility, but like I would almost consider like a Nouhou trade.
Yeah, I mean, look, this discourse is going to be ratcheting up with this latest red card, and I think deservedly when you get 2 red cards in as short a span as he just did, and also in the way that he just did. The one in Vancouver was ridiculous. This one was even more ridiculous. And I'll say for my part, I've been known as a defender. I think in a way that it almost got a little twisted in the sense that I just felt like there was a long period of time where the discourse was over the top in regards to like how much of a liability he actually was, when I think there's been a lot of situations. He's been a starter on this team for a long time, and they've won a lot of games with him, and I think it's silly to say he hasn't contributed to that. But when you start getting into stuff like red cards where it's just a matter of losing your head and losing your composure, and you do it twice in like 3 weeks, your spot on the team is going to come under scrutiny, like no matter what you've done in the past. And it should, and it feels like, I don't know, doesn't it feel like there's almost like there's got to be some sort of reason for it? Like he's upset about something off the field, or like this stuff just doesn't. I don't know. What do you think there's anything like going on, or is the era just tired out?
Well, I don't know what it is about Nouhou, because Schmetzer's usually pretty, like, I would say as far as like MLS coaches go, like he takes it very seriously. I'm surprised Schmetzer has as much tolerance for Nouhou as he, like, the leash seems incredibly long, and we've seen Schmetz like ice guys out in the past, but Nouhou just always seems to like, I don't know what about Nouhou always gets him in the lineup.
I think the reason for that is because Schmetz really, he's a coach that values defense, and in theory that's what Nouhou brings to the table. He's a specialist in that way, so much so, like, I think it is my thing is that you don't keep a starting job in this league as long as he has for just like no reason. And like I don't think the coach is just like delusional for starting him as much as he does. But you're right, like there's been a few situations now where a player probably would have gotten benched for longer than seems to happen to Nouhou, where he gets that red card in Vancouver a couple weeks ago, and then he's just right back in there. And even after what he did in the Club World Cup against Botafogo. So I think he's going to get suspended for 2 or 3 games on top of the red card suspension that he's already going to have to serve. And then after that, he's going to, I have to imagine this is where he has to earn his starting job back.
Yeah, and also it's not like he's a cheap player for us. Like he makes plenty of money for as far as left backs in MLS go. So it's just I feel like there's teams that could really actually that could use him a lot more than we could.
Oh yeah.
Because even like John Bell, I feel like could slot in over there if we absolutely must. I feel like Reed. I mean, he's been kind of immature the last couple of seasons as well. Just the red cards and the penalties, and even today, I mean, it looked like Reed was trying to give them a third penalty with 2 minutes left, and he's just kind of like snatching at the ball. But like, I don't know. I feel like his salary is not worth it either. And like, why wouldn't Inter Miami or a team that struggles to like? I feel like Nouhou could thrive on an Inter Miami. You don't need creativity when you have Messi or.
That's actually like
why
such a good shout because they have it's got to be a team that just has so much firepower offensively, like Inter Miami or San Diego or like a team like that. That's just like a freight train in attack already, and then you drop the defensive specialist in there to like shore that up. That's kind of a good idea. And like I get kind of just talking through it tonight. It almost feels just like an era that's run its course and a change of scenery might be beneficial. He's been on the team for so long. Like maybe it's just sort of like he's not consciously thinking about it, but he's sort of just like done all he can do here, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's like, the Botafogo game, like I said, that's one of the biggest teams or clubs that the team's ever played, and one of the biggest moments. And it was just jarring. Like, there's things you can't get away with now that VAR is in the game, but it's like he knows he's getting goated, and he's doing it 2 feet away from the ref while the ball is nowhere close. And if he's going to do that, if he's going to do it in front of the referee, I just don't. I don't know. I don't know.
It was it's
run its course for me.
I don't want it to like totally overshadow the win or anything. It's a good win, but that was like a debacle of an ending. There's no question about it. Discipline Nouhou, thank you for the call. I got a couple other in the queue, but did you have any other like maybe about the goals in the first half or something positive to close us out here?
Yeah, real quick. I don't know who it is, but sometimes Twitter puts Sounders people on your algorithm, but anyone who's bashing Jesus Ferreira just doesn't know ball, I guess.
I think it's gonna he did need to start scoring goals for that to tamp down, and now he's doing that. And my prediction has always been like once he starts playing like the player that he's been throughout his career, that he'll like earn the acceptance and adulation of the fan base. But this was just his third goal, so maybe we're in the process of that right now.
Well, even before he scored, like in the first like 2 minutes of the game, he put in a really dangerous one-time early cross on the ground to Jordan that he was just kind of like it would have been a tap in. He recycled possession. He picked up good spots, and I just feel like he's a really good tempo person. And if you want to compare him to I know he's different than Brandon Vasquez, but one guy costs 10 million and the other guy costs whatever. If the season ended today, you can't tell me that Jesus isn't producing.
Well, that's the beauty of it is
he has to be better in front of net.
Yeah. The beauty of it is he's not a DP. Like that's why it was a good trade. But all right, Discipline Nouhou, thank you for the call. Now that we know who you are, feel free to call in with the graphic and I'll know who you are. Sorry for
I change the name every time.
Okay. Well, but just the circular graphic. I remember it from before now.
Yeah.
So I got it ingrained and won't accuse you of trolling again, but appreciate the call.
No worries.
And, take care. Have a good one. All right. We got James up next. Jeremy after that. James got the thumbs up. There he is. You're on the stage right now. James, 3-2 at Sporting Kansas City. A win on the road, but a debacle of an ending featuring a Nouhou red card for throwing the ball in the stands. What'd you think?
3 points are 3 points, so that's fine. But I want to agree with the previous caller. I think it's time to move on from Nouhou. It could be what you were saying. He's done all he can do here. One thing that just crossed my mind is that we've had people who are sort of uncertain about how their contracts are going to go, like Ladero and Rui Diaz, kind of fall out with management, with the team. Nouhou's contract is up at the end of the year with one option, so maybe that's what's going on. Or maybe the message from Schmetzer just isn't hitting anymore, which sounds crazy because I think man management is Schmetzer's strongest suit. But that could be the case too. I mean, there were problems last year and they seem to have gotten worse. I do understand why Schmetzer keeps playing him, because he's tried to give Baker Whiting the slot and it's gone poorly more often than not. But he's young, so I understand that. I think I agree with the previous caller. We should look to do a trade. They can get him for a year and a half because he's got an option. Salary's middle of the road. It's not too bad. And there's going to be some team out there that wants to play with three at the back, where I think he's really going to excel more than he does as a left back. That clears up enough space to get you, that would be, I think it's 570. That's been enough to get like a Brad Smith or a Kelvin Leardam in the past. So I think if we could get a free agent veteran left back that Baker Whiting can study under, I think that would be a great help to the team.
What do you think is up with all these red cards? Four in a row, all fullbacks. Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, with Nouhou, they're just losing his head, and with the other ones, they're just young. I mean, it's KKR, it's Reed Baker Whiting, dumb second yellows, and I guess when you're under pressure in games when the other team's trying to get a win or equalize or something, maybe it's putting under more pressure than they can handle. I don't know. I mean, it's really two different things. It's an experience with KKR and RBW, and then just losing his head with Nouhou. But I think it changes scenery is going to do him good.
That's kind of how I'm starting to, like, especially after this game tonight. It's a thought that's popped into my head before, I'll be honest. But after seeing this and then Vancouver, it's just stuff that happens when your head's just like elsewhere, not in it. Like you're not locked in on the task at hand, which in this line of work, like you can't do that. Like, especially it was even more egregious in this scenario when you were trying to close out a game and you just got a penalty called that's going to bring it within one goal. You can't get ejected. Like,
that's why I was kind of wondering if there's something with his contract going on, because the Vancouver one, it's a last man back foul, but it was kind of violent. And the shoving.
Yeah, he grabbed him up by his like neck and stuff. Yeah.
It would get you 15 yards in the NFL, like I said. I mean, you can't even do that in the NFL. So shoving the guy, there's something going on with him. Like I said, that's why I was wondering if it was contract nerves or something like that. I mean, if we can trade him, open up that cap space, maybe he gets a bit longer of a deal, he gets more security, and he can kind of get his head straight. I don't know, or maybe he's just not meshing with Schmetzer. That seemed to be the case last year. But I think we've talked a lot about the talk. I think all season has been focused on that U22 striker that's coming in. I think we still need that, but now we need a JP replacement.
Yep.
Because Christian was dead on his feet today.
Especially at the end there, man. I felt bad for him.
Well, and it was, he was limping, he was pulling up, and then because of the red card, he had to shift back to right back. And it's like, you can't even get any kind of breather at all there. We can't run him into the ground. I mean, there's no cover for him with JP out. And I just don't want him to, I don't want to run him so much that we're playing Leyva and Obed in central midfield, because I just don't think that has the bite that we need.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, Christian has he's found like a little bit of Ozzy Alonso in him this year, and just what he's doing for the team this year, how much he puts it in, week out, how he played in the Club World Cup, all the stuff he was doing out there tonight. We did a Sounders Mount Rushmore segment earlier this year. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, dude, I think CR7's getting his place on there, because you talk about like laying it on the line for the team and playing for the badge and all that stuff. Like, he just embodied that this whole season. So, but I agree. Like with he and Obed's 19, it's probably fine. He can handle it. Christian, you got to start like finding places to give him. The man needs a rest. I need him to get a rest for his own. He's like earned it. He's earned a little bit of a break.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And it's just, even if he, God forbid, knock wood, he were to get injured, there's no cover there without JP. So they can do the season-ending injury thing on him. That opens up 600,000. And hey, maybe somebody's got a holding mid that we can trade for Nouhou. I don't know. I'd have to look through the league and see if there's any deals that make sense like that. But that seems to, I get in a holding mid, just an MLS veteran. It doesn't have to be a guy like prime JP, who was kind of a playmaker out of the back too. We just need somebody who's got that tackling ability that Christian has been showing in the last couple of years.
What did you think of the first half, James? Obviously the 3 goals, and I was having a lot of fun just watching how much space Sporting KC were giving Seattle. It felt like every time Seattle got out in transition, the guys would be on the ball and they'd be like, is anyone going to close me out? No. Okay. I'll just going to keep going. Anyone going to try and pressure me, try and get it? Okay. I'm going to just it happened like 7 times where they were just running wherever they wanted. And SKC's defense was just sprinting backwards, it felt like. And credit they took advantage of that space, especially on that last goal in transition. But what'd you make of the attack tonight?
It was good. I mean, as much as I rag on Rusnak, when he smells blood in the water, he goes for it. And he smelled blood in the water there. And I thought it was going to be a football score or cricket score.
That's what it looked like.
So credit to SKC for turning it around. And I really don't even. It's a shame that the goals that we gave up were, I thought, kind of soft penalties. The second one annoyed me because that was one where I think VAR is a detriment. I think in the past, and I think what this referee looked at in real time was like, okay, he hit him a little bit. At the same time, the guy also took a dive.
Yeah.
I mean, he tries to keep playing and then throws himself to the ground like a cannonball. And I remember Colina, the great Italian referee, said one time, like, look, sometimes it's kind of a foul, it's kind of a dive, and I just let it go. And I think that's what the referee would have done. But with VAR, they're always going to call it back, and they're never going to look at the theatrical flop that came with the minor contact. So I don't, I'm not melting down about the second half because I thought Pedro de la Vega was trying to play as the number 6 and actually had some pretty good interventions.
Yeah, you're right. He was like dropping real deep.
Yeah. He had a couple of key interceptions in the box. I was like, well, maybe if he can't play as the number 7 or the number 10, maybe he's looking for a new career as the midfield destroyer. Yeah, it also felt like, I don't know if it was, we let off the gas a little bit because the first half was so dominant, or if Casey's manager just gave the greatest halftime talk of all time. But it was
I would like to hear that halftime talk because they looked so bad in the first half and incredible in the second half. My theory on that is, I think there was, you do have to give them credit. Like, they played a lot better. They looked inspired. They didn't give up, as Schmetzer pointed out. I think any away game at SKC, they have an advantage of training and playing in that heat. Seattle is not used to that. You get to 70th, 80th minute, and that's just like your legs just go. Like, you can't run and press and play as hard as you do like they did in the first 45. So I think there was like a combination of those two things, but probably more so Sporting KC just being like, look, we can't go down like this. And they were fighting. So I think you do have to credit the opponent to an extent there.
It was probably a combination, yeah. And I think, and of course we had all those Club World Cup games in the run up too. So where Christian and Obed were playing, one of them played every minute, one of them played all but like 6 minutes. So they've got to just be tired. But Obed was balling at the beginning of this game.
Oh yeah, he looked incredible. Like the combination of his quality against a defensive game plan that did not work was fun to watch.
Yeah. But I do think that it was. I think it's partly tired legs, partly the humidity, partly Kansas City just deciding we have nothing to lose. But again, the buzzword for this roster at the start of the season was depth, and I think that's being severely tested now between the Areola injury and the Joao Paulo injury.
Yeah,
Morris being in and out, and I think we've got to make some moves and maybe make some hard decisions. Maybe it's time to you can put JP on the season-ending injury, or you can just buy him out and just say 2 ACL tears, thank you for your service, but we've got to open up that cap space. And it's Kent. I love that run he made in the second half where he was just slaloming through everybody just to buy a little space.
Yeah, exactly.
Why can't you do that and then put it across and somebody scores?
Yeah, you see these like that moment in particular in this game. It was one of those Ryan Kent moments where you're like, Jesus Christ, like you're so good at this sport. Like, do what you were doing like against St. Louis and Houston. Like, but to me, like every time I see him do stuff like that, it makes me feel like, okay, this stuff is all in the bag. Maybe he's still getting acclimated to the club, to the league, and that's why it hasn't been as hot lately. Hopefully that's what it is. But I just hope that they're able to unlock that more, because when he is doing that stuff, I mean, it's a joy to watch. Like he does stuff that other guys just can't do. So I don't know what the key is to tapping into that more consistently, but hopefully they're able to get that, because that'd be a huge X factor for this team if he can look more like the player he did the first couple games.
Well, I know we've got a year option on him, but I was looking at the salary numbers. I don't see how he stays for another year. He's making.
They would have to sell a player, which could be Obed. Yeah. Well.
If they sold Obed and they got a ton of GAM, then they could buy him down, I guess. But that's kind of short term. Well, no,
it's gonna be interesting, because like as the roster is now, they can't have both Areola and Kent on the books. They can't. Yeah. So you have to as I understand the situation, if they do sell a player, then like you said, they can maneuver that a little bit and perhaps keep both Areola and Kent on the roster. But we'll see. We'll see if they're able to do that. James, I got one caller in the queue behind you, but any last takes that you wanted to get out there before you take off?
Just get a left back, get a holding midfielder, get a U22 striker, and I think we're going to be set for a strong second half of the season.
Love it. All right, James, thank you as always. Always great catching up with you.
Thank you for my call. Have a great
we'll catch you next time.
Have a great evening. Yeah, bye.
All right, got one more caller in the queue. So if anyone else wants to jump in, I will be hanging out for a little bit. We're going to bring Jeremy to the stage right now, our friend based in the Rose City, Cascadia Soccer. Isn't that what it's called? Yeah.
Cascadia FC. I got the sweatshirt to prove it now.
Cascadia FC. They got merch. They cover all 3 Cascadia soccer clubs. Do great work. Jeremy, we haven't caught up in a while. I know you watch every Cascadia game, or when they're going at the same time, keep track of them as much as you can. So what were your takes on what transpired tonight? Before you get into it, I do want to hit this super chat from Aaron. Thank you for the $1.99. Thanks for the takes, guys. Our pleasure to give the takes and give the people a chance to hop on and dish takes with us as we're doing tonight. But Jeremy, what did you think?
I think in this game you saw the best that the Sounders could be, and also the worst.
Yes.
And funnily enough, it played out in 2 different halves. The first half was probably the Sounders at their best, because you have Jordan Morris come back into the team. I don't think there's another player on this roster who's going to make that pass out wide to Paul Rothrock and immediately make that run to the near post to score that goal. So just him coming back is going to be such a huge boost to this team for the rest of the season. And I know Schmetzer is going to keep him like very strictly on the minutes clock, making sure he's hitting all the performance metrics. But yeah, just knowing that he's going to be available again is huge. The other 2 goals that you scored in the first half, I mean, that's a handball. That's the way the sport works now.
Yep.
So the fact that it sends Rusnak to the spot, he scores another penalty. Like, good for him, like easy 2-0 lead, and then Ferreira getting the goal off the counterattack. Always good. 3-0 lead in halftime. You can't ask for anything better in a road game, literally. But I do believe that the tired legs did catch up. I've heard a lot about just how many minutes Obed and Roldan have been playing over the past month, which is they played so much, and
they play every minute of every game, and they don't. I think with Obed, it's less of an issue. Like I said, he's 19, he can handle it. Christian's 30. Like you gotta give the man a rest.
Mm-hmm. And I'd also like to piggyback off of a previous point made specifically about the U22, because I think that could be a midfielder. I really do believe that could be a midfielder. I think saying that you need to find another striker with that U22 spot, like he'd probably be third on the depth chart, and you'd probably have to commit a significant amount of money to a player who would probably end up being third on the depth chart, because Musovski has shown that he can be productive in this system. And that's the most important thing that the Sounders need. They need players to be productive in the system, because I think the system comes first over the individual talents and skills of the players. That's for better or worse. Like you look at the wingers, you look at how Paul Rothrock is suddenly undroppable. Even though Ryan Kent came in with such a big pedigree, looked so good in his first couple of games, has really cooled off. But Rothrock he's perfect for the way this team wants to play, both on the ball and off the ball. And then for the right wing spot with Ferreira, maybe he works at the right wing, but hey, he did get assisted by Albert Rusnak today. So the whole Albert and Ferreira, do they work together on the pitch at the same time? That maybe they are starting to work together a little bit.
I was on the train the whole time, by the way, of like, you got to give this run. You got to give it time. They'll probably figure it out. And that looks like what's happening, which that is of all the takeaways from this game. I think that's like the most exciting development, is that Ferreira looks like he's genuinely fitting in and he's producing. He's getting his goals now. So that would be a welcome sight if he can keep doing that consistently going forward. And it looks like there's a good chance that he has found his footing and can start being the Jesus Ferreira that we saw at FC Dallas for all those years.
Yeah, so that's another positive takeaway, but unfortunately, that second half, there really isn't a lot of good to take away from there. And Nouhou's incident's going to take all the headlines from this game, which I find really funny that you guys have found a way to get 4 fullbacks sent off in 4 consecutive games. I don't think
it's kind of I'm kind of proud of it. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about that is, aside from the Vancouver game, like that's the only loss in those 4, because it just seems
exactly.
like it's it
happens at the end of the game when they can't close out a game when they have the lead or when it's tied without getting someone sent off. They can't do it.
It's innovation of the highest order, and I have to hand it to you guys on that. Like that's just really, really interesting. But I think that the noticeable drop in quality came really when Kent entered the pitch for Rothrock. And I understand Schmetzer's trying to stick to his rotations, trying to like keep players healthy, keep them fit, especially with a very busy week coming up. Like Colorado, even though they haven't been in the best of form, they still beat Vancouver tonight. I'll probably talk more about Vancouver later, because Vancouver's pretty fun right now to watch because they're being pretty bad. But I think that Kent needs to find his form in order for the Sounders team to become like cup contenders. And at their base, which has always been like their floor, their base level, they've always been a playoff team, and comfortably a top 4 playoff team, just based on the way the roster is constructed, based on the way they're able to score goals, the tactics and Schmetzer's whole game model. It basically sets a floor of being a playoff team. So the question with this is, how do you get the supporting pieces, the ones who need to step up and need to be the ones to be the difference makers? How do you get them to take this team from a playoff team essentially to a cup contender? And I think Ryan Kent's going to be the most important player for that down the stretch. Like, even though Rothrock's still playing out of his mind because he just does that now. You just got to accept it. He's the best winger on this team, and I don't think it's controversial to say that.
It's not. It shouldn't be. Yeah, I've been saying it, and it's been slightly controversial, but to me, it just seems pretty obvious at this point. But in terms of like who's out there delivering the final product right now, it's Jesus Ferreira and Paul Rothrock. That's it. I think I agree with the general premise of your take. I don't know if I would amend it slightly that I don't know if they need Ryan Kent to reach his ceiling to be a cup contender. They can there's a path to that without that happening, but it would be like a massive help. Like it would the ceiling of this team, if that happens versus if it doesn't happen, there's a stark gap there because Paul Rothrock is balling right now. Ryan Kent, some of the stuff he does, it's not just Paul Rothrock that doesn't do that stuff. It's like most players in MLS aren't able to eliminate defenders the way he can and make the runs that he makes. And if he's able to do that consistently, and like I said earlier, we saw him do it in games against St. Louis and Houston earlier. And there's no question about it. Like them unlocking that would skyrocket this team's ceiling.
Mm-hmm. And especially now that we're in the second half of the season and that transfer window is about to open, I start to look at the Western Conference, and I see that right now it's Portland, Seattle, and I think Vancouver and LAFC are going to be in that fight for those top 4 spots, for spots 3 and 4, and getting that home field advantage in the first round. Because LAFC, they still have a ton of games in hand. Who knows what they're going to do with the DP slot that Giroud opened. Like, could that be a striker? Or Das has been playing pretty well. You don't know about that. Abobasi is still good for a goal every couple of games. Like, you don't know what LAFC is going to do. And they're the ones that have the most, I'd say, ammunition to potentially skyrocket up the table, especially with all these games in hand. Vancouver, who just lost their second consecutive game by a 3-0 score.
They're spiraling.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, everyone's saying, like, why are they spiraling? It's like, oh, well, they still don't have Ryan Gauld. They haven't had Ryan Gauld for the entire season, and they've been doing just fine. They
were the best team in the league for the first couple months of the season without Ryan Gauld.
Yeah, I think this is just the start of the CCL hangover.
Yeah,
and there are teams like Columbus who were able to manage it pretty well last year. And they just ran into a New York Red Bulls team in the playoffs that was set up perfectly to basically erase all the things that made them Columbus. But when you've already gone into this year with only 2 DPs because you let go of Stuart Armstrong in the offseason, and you haven't really done a ton to beef out that roster aside from bringing in Sabi and Jaden Nelson, this is where those heavy legs really start to pick up for Vancouver. And if you watch them in midweek during the Canadian Championship, they needed a miracle goal to pull past Valor.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty fun watch in a bar, I will say that. Particularly once Valor scored their equalizer, that it was pretty good. And then Utvik, who wears a helmet for some reason, he just heads in the winner. But that was a big win for them because they're going to need every single point that they need from the league now. Like, San Diego is legitimately good. You guys have played them twice already. Portland has not. That's going to be very interesting. Portland hasn't even played Minnesota yet. So
these are some hard games coming up.
So what Portland may have in terms of like the harder schedule coming up, Seattle I think has a little bit of the easier schedule.
Definitely not that hard.
It's
not two each against San Diego and Minnesota, 2 of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, and then they still have to play Vancouver for the second time after that embarrassment that was the home opener. So I think that as this transfer window starts to open, and as the rumors, I've already seen the Noah Ohio rumor. It makes me a little bit angry because I actually rate him. I don't like it when players that I rate go to the Seattle Sounders. But, I mean, I think that would be a good deal, relatively speaking. I just think it wouldn't be as good for roster construction considering I think that the most important player who's holding everything together right now is Christian Roldan.
Yeah.
And if something does happen to him with all these minutes that he's been playing over the past month or so, you need someone who can step in and immediately like just play there. And with JP on injured reserve, that's just not going to happen right now. They need to find some cover for him. On to Nouhou though, because I think this is the game where everyone finally turned on Nouhou. And as someone who like rated him, but not to the extent that I'd say the wider MLS media landscape did, I understood, yes, he's a very good player, but not for the reasons that like every single color commentator says, oh, Nouhou, he's going to get forward. You got to watch out.
I don't know why they always say that.
Yeah. It's weird because it's
literally the opposite. It's the opposite.
I don't know what kind of effect it is, but what he really excelled at was the smart stuff throughout his entire time in Seattle. He was always a really smart defender. And so much of 1v1 defending, which I'd say is his biggest strong suit, comes down to just being smart, using your body, and basically those two things. Particularly, what I think he was the best player in the league at was using his body to win throw-ins, goal kicks, corner kicks, just properly placing his body between an opposition.
He was the
player
best in the league at specifically that for a long time.
Yeah. And that is a very good skill to be like good at. He was always good at like the smaller, like I'd say the je ne sais quoi of playing as a fullback in the league, but so much of that is cerebral. And if the cerebral part starts to fall off a little bit, like I don't know what you're doing throwing a ball at a fan who's giving you a Portland salute. I don't know why. I think that's an all-time head loss for seemingly zero reason.
2 weeks after he had another all-time head loss.
Yeah, which that already probably put him in the doghouse for a little bit. But this one, even though it doesn't directly affect the result, it's just such a stupid play for him to make.
It's the principle. Like you can't put your team in that situation. You cannot. It's a selfish maneuver.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that I don't think I need to go more into Nouhou there. All I'm going to say is he's an excellent villain, but sometimes he gets carried away. Today he absolutely got carried away, and that just happens, you know? But on to the larger point I'm trying to make, which is just Seattle's chase for a top 4 spot, which is definitely on. They're finishing today in the top 4.
Yep,
they are. Portland plays tomorrow. They're playing in St. Louis, which is going to be just as an oppressive of an environment, probably even worse because kickoff is a little bit earlier in the day, just in terms of the sweat and the heat and the humidity in Kansas/Missouri. So taking care of business is what the Sounders have been doing since returning from the Club World Cup. It seems like they've been playing with a lot more confidence, but at the same time, it's just these silly little errors that continue to bite them. And in the previous games where Alex Roldan was playing center back, for example, I thought I was just like, I can't believe it. He's done it again. Schmetzer has just found a way to get a already solid player, put him in a new role, and he's done pretty well, which makes me think about Pedro de la Vega. And that I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, but based on the way that de la Vega is just a demon off the ball, but is actually smart when going forward, knows how to move, knows how to affect play in the final third, I could potentially see him as a wingback if Schmetzer.
I said that in preseason. Yeah. I said it because I said it like sort of in jest, but like we were playing with a lineup builder. Like, what's the ideal starting 11 based on just like how we rate everybody and how preseason has been looking and stuff. And I was just looking at how I had it, and I was like, yeah, low key De La Vega at left back though. And I brought the take up, and it didn't really the take didn't get traction, but I have thought of that. Like,
yeah. And it doesn't
His work
sound
rate
like,
defensively tonight, like I could see it. I could see it.
yeah, it doesn't sound too crazy. And the reasoning I have behind it mostly is, I mean, the optics of it are objectively terrible. You spend $7 million for a player, he comes in, he ends up being a wingback. That no one wants that. No one wants that, especially as a DP taking up such a high value roster slot.
Yeah.
But it's about fitting players in the Schmetzer system first and foremost. And if that's just where De La Vega is going to be able to play, and that's where he's going to be able to affect the team the best, I feel like you have to do it. But on the other side, I see a player who is always going to run his ass off, try as hard as he can whenever he gets on the field. The problem is it seems like he's making the most of every chance he gets on the field before like he gets hurt or something like that again. And I feel like if he was playing like wing back, there's a lot more running. He doesn't have the best legs. So that could be a bit of an issue. But I feel like Schmetzer at least has to try it. You know,
I don't know if he would ever actually do it because it's pretty far outside the box. And then also I think what you were saying about the optics plays in pretty heavily, like the amount of clownage they would endure for putting him back there. That's not a good reason to not do it. Like you got to do what's best for the team. But I think like even subconsciously that would factor in, like, we can't do that. We can't put him back there. But it's not a stupid idea. I had the same thought. And this was even before like the season started, where we're kind of seeing them struggle to really fully find his footing again. But you know, I did like I like seeing him out there like working hard and making plays on defense tonight, even if he did have that one chance that he whiffed again.
No, I mean that's not limited to just De La Vega though. You know, like creating so many chances is a feature of the system. Like I'd say like 70 to 80% of them are not going to go in. So it's about scoring at least 2 or 3 of them that makes Schmetzer's system work. So I think that going forward, at least, who do you guys have on Wednesday? Colorado?
Yep.
That's a home game?
Yep.
Okay. That's going to be fun. Colorado they always go balls to the wall no matter what. They are kind of a pain in the ass to play against, even though Portland has a pretty good record against them.
They usually tend to struggle in Seattle, and they had been kind of going off the rails honestly lately until the game tonight against a hungover Caps side. But it is a game where you're going to be favored and against an opponent that had not been in great form until tonight. So this part of the schedule for Seattle. We were looking at it before this KC game, and it was like, all right, this is where you got to pick off a lot of points here if you really want that top 4 spot.
Yeah. And that's what's going to be the difference. Like these top 4, top 6 teams, I think, because I think that's the separator right now in between just the top 6 of the West and then the rest. And then San Jose, maybe if they can get back into it. But Christian Espinosa's on the sidelines. You saw how they looked today without him. And also just they can't defend set pieces, so they were going to lose in Minnesota anyway. I feel like the way that the West is going to shake out, it depends so heavily on what LAFC is going to do this summer, what San Diego is going to do, because they still have a couple of high value roster slots open, how Minnesota continues to evolve throughout the rest of the year, what Portland does, and then what you guys do with that U22 slot, because you're not going to have a DP available. You're not going to have you're going to clear some cap space with JP going on season-ending injury. And I'd say you try and use that to bring in maybe a midfielder if you can't get that with the U22, even though I probably prioritize the U22. You know, U22 midfielders, especially for you guys, even though they come from the academy, they tend to have a pretty high success rate. So
yeah, more so than like they've been looking at forwards and they've been linked to this Dutch guy, Noah, Ohio, who it says, according to reports from Nico Moreno, Lobbing Scorchers kickoff, they made like an offer on this Dutch forward who I've been saying like my initial reaction to it is like it's just when I look at the players of that exact profile, like I've seen this profile a lot of MLS teams signing these U22s. The hit rate for a striker is just low. Like it's then maybe I hadn't really thought about it through that lens of like, well, first of all, maybe the JP injury like would rethink like how they approach that. I had thought of that, but like I hadn't thought of like the hit rate at that area of the field for U22 probably being higher, which makes sense because it's just like attacking players in general. It's more difficult to hit, and then especially with a young guy like that, it's even harder. So they're going to have to figure that out.
The one exception I'd say maybe that Ohio would be more of a hit is because the system is created for just poachers to thrive in Schmetzer's system. So as long as he's getting service, and the Sounders as a team usually generate a ton of service, be it from the wingers, be it from Rusnak's through balls, be it from their fullbacks, usually Alex Roldan crosses, not Nouhou, he doesn't get forward. But I believe...
Well, he crosses it sometimes. It just goes into the 27th row.
It does. It does. Well, today he tried throwing it in the 27th row, so he's upgraded a little bit. But I think that right now, if I was to pick who's going to finish top four in the West, it would be both Vancouver and Portland sliding out, and Seattle just with the floor that they have, and LAFC with the potential of who they could bring in, putting them into that top four with all those games in hand. But once again, nothing is ever given in this league. It's always earned. And going on the road to KC, building a 3-0 lead at halftime, and still walking out of there with 3 points despite one of the worst second halves I've seen from this team all year on the road. I'd say maybe outside of that entire Vancouver game.
I think it was their best half of the season, followed by their worst half of the season. It was wild. Like
you put that half above the San Diego half?
In the San Diego
game.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was pretty much comparable to me.
Oh.
Like it was the same idea. But yeah, that's a good shout.
But either way, 3 points, jingle bells.
Exactly.
No matter how subdued they were.
A win is a win is a win.
Is a win.
All right. Well, I'm coming up on 2 hours, so I'm going to start wrapping it up here. But Jeremy, thank you as always for the call. Always good catching up with you. I mean, you know all three of these teams inside and out, so it's always like great knowledge when you hop on here. We appreciate it. But yeah, thanks for calling in. And anything you want to plug with Cascadia FC real quick?
We have a major website announcement coming up in the next week.
Okay.
We are departing Substack. We will be fully independent of that terrible hosting platform. And it's been something that's been in the work for a couple of months. So we're very excited about that. And yes, this sweatshirt to be particular, we might kick off the new website announcement with a merch sale. So if y'all are interested in repping the greatest, I guess sub-region of the United States and I guess Canada, but if you're interested in repping that, just be sure check the website whenever it launches at some point next week. But yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's been a good year to be a local independent media outlet. That doesn't sound very good when I say it, but it's true.
No, I mean, yeah, best of luck to you guys on the independent journey. I mean, I know Sounder at Heart, who hosts our show, they've had I think they probably wouldn't change anything at this point as far as how it has worked with them going independent compared to how it was when it was on Vox. So it can be done. And yeah, good luck with that. Everyone definitely go check out Cascadia FC. They do great work covering the whole region. So Jeremy, thanks again, man. And we'll talk soon.
As always. Thank you, Ari.
Yep. Take care. All right. That was the last caller in the queue. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Great turnout tonight. Great calls, great discourse. It was a eventful Sounders win at Children's Mercy Park. Definitely a lot coming off of that game. It ended poorly. It ended poorly, but I mean, a win is a win. You don't really question 3 points on the road. We'll talk about the future outlook of Nouhou in the coming weeks, I'm sure. We'll talk about Pedro de la Vega, Ryan Kent. We'll do all the discoursing. We'll do all the discoursing. But for now, rest easy tonight, knowing that the Seattle Sounders are vacating the home of the professional wrestling enthusiasts with all 3 points and a goal from Jordan Morris. That might be the most important development of all of this. Jordan Morris is back. He scored a goal. Jesus Ferreira, don't let him get hot. Don't let him get hot. 3 goals, 6 games. A couple dimes in there. So that's a positive development. And the first half in general, I think that was like one of, it was definitely one of the best halves they've played all season. It might have been the best in terms of just chance generation and attacking output and all that. It was excellent. Had to weather the storm there at the end, but they got it done. As Azurata points out, like the video. I haven't seen how many likes we've got, but it's not enough. Let's get this one to triple digits. We had 100 and some people in here at different junctures, so there's no reason that this one shouldn't get to triple digits. We'll be back at it next week. Lobbing Scorchers kickoff Monday morning with Nico Moreno, 8 a.m. Be there. We'll have dub pods. We'll have Under the Lights on Thursday. The content train. It's going to keep rolling. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.
Some people come to Lumen Field for the tactics, for the soccer, the atmosphere. And some come for Paul Rothrock's hair. Me personally, I come for both, because I have agendas to push. Live soccer isn't just better, it's way more personal. From making friends to becoming the guy in your section that's just constantly yelling about advanced statistics. Get tickets to any Sounders match by visiting lobbingscorchers.com/tickets. You support the pod, our agendas, the vibes, and the chaos.